Good morning and welcome in, everybody. As we get into this Tuesday morning update and we transition into getting towards the middle part of this trading week, we have a lot of things to discuss this morning. We have an outlier that might be just ahead of its time right now with XDC, which is nice to see up 5.2%, but there is a very real chance that it could be brought down with the broader market conditions. ACH was up about 12% overnight, but it's fallen back here as Ethereum. I've been trying to describe in the Telegram. If you are part of Tom's Army, please make sure that you get into the Telegram. I just talked about briefly in here. I just said a likely retest of Ethereum around 3,542, assuming we don't make a new high. And I put if Ethereum falls below 3,725, we got about a $200 drop signaled. The only way to invalidate that is if we make a new high. Ethereum was around 3,820 when I put that out. And right now, Ethereum looks like it's coming towards that breakdown area. And if it does, I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to come towards that 3,564 and backtest Altseason here officially. If we can make a new high and hold this backtest and then somehow get back over 3,940 and start pushing 4,000, we can invalidate this bearish thesis. And the 4 hourly, it looks bearish. If we look at this in the weekly, it also is looking okay in the weekly, but in the daily time frame as well, it's putting in like a bearish reversal here. So I have a very strong suspicion if we can't reverse here pretty quickly and make a new high, it does seem like we're going to rotate down about another $230 on Ethereum. If that happens, what does that mean for the alt tokens as we are in a positional pattern? Does that mean they break down universally like XRP? Would that mean that it breaks back below? Or would it just mean that we're trying to backtest this uptrend that has been forming here? We do have what looks like a bit of a broadening wedge or a bit of a resistance structure that's been put in. The best way to look at this would be, in my opinion, I mean, we're well below this now. So if we're looking at XRP, I mean, it does seem to me like there's a bit of a bearish bias here, and we could find ourselves coming back down here in a very real way. We had a breakout from this formation. We haven't been able to get over the upward volatility. It looks like maybe a head and shoulders could be forming a little bearish in the daily to where we could find ourselves falling through here in a sense. For XRP, if this played through, I mean, we could find ourselves as low as $2.50. And that would be an overwhelming signal if we fall below $3. So that is something we'll have to pay attention to. Almost done, buddy, I promise. Just a small little video here. So we'll have to make sure that this doesn't fall through. So the big gatekeeper here is Ethereum. If this continues to break down and we do have a push down to retest at 3,565, that's going to put us very consistently with a little bit of a drop in the alt tokens. It is nice to see XDC, however, with an outlier here at 5.2%. We'll see if it falls the same way as like ACH did, or if this can be the opposite of the market, which happens sometimes with XDC. So, but as we further discuss this, let's get into the intro, and then we'll do a couple minutes here, and then I got to go because my son's got therapy at 12 p.m. So good morning. 11:03 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, July 29th. 2025. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So good morning, and make sure you pay attention to the setup this morning. It's not looking all that impressive this morning with Ethereum, as we still get that gut check that it feels like we need to come down to 3,565. If it can hold this, I'd be fine with it. It's just in the shorter time frames, we are falling below these little pivot points, and that's a pretty big bearish 2 hourly candle. However, it could just be creating a short-term inversion here, so we have to wait until we break 3,727 to confirm this drop, but then it would be about almost a $200 drop from here. A little bit more from where we're at, but that's what we're looking to signal here, in my opinion. And then, honestly, it'd be standard operating procedure because you're looking to see how bearish or bullish this is on the push out. It could be early, though, because technically, if you come through here, you'd say 70% of the moves probably not until, like, April, May, June of next year. So we very well could be early here still. So we'll see how this plays out. I'll be very transparent with these charts. Remember, if you're buying a setup, you're not just buying the micro, you're buying the overall pattern setup. So if you're looking to get in entry one right now, you got to be very aware of the situation developing. You want to be very aware that it would probably be a better opportunity if you're looking, because you're kind of in a reversal part of the pattern. It kind of looks like it's in no man's land based on the way the chart looks. That's a pretty bearish daily setup. Unless we can break bullish and try to get some huge volume spikes here so we can reverse this and make a new high, it does seem pretty set up here to come back down and back test this larger movement. And then if it's not ready, it could fall back into this consolidation. So I'm going to look at this very objectively. I'm not adding anything. I'm not ridding anything. But we are looking to see if this pattern is starting to rotate in a sense to where it's exhausting itself. We've got a lot of different things that are railing up, but then end up pulling right back down. Like ACH could be a further outlier for like what XDC is doing, as it was up a good 12-15% overnight, and then it just immediately pulled back down as Ethereum started to reverse. We've got XDC here that's at least up for the moment, 5.2%. And then we'll have to see if this can continue through. For this to continue on, and we do look good in the daily as of right now, we need to push past 9886. So if you're looking down our position on XDC, I would make sure it gets on top of 9886, and then you could ride it maybe up to that next resistance. But with further market conditions, there's a very real chance this might come and break down as the day goes on. Hopefully not, because it's nice to see one thing just bouncing around here a little bit. But yeah, just be aware of market conditions. But money has to find yield somewhere, so it's very possible it finds its way into XDC based on the smaller technicals. Now, if it wants to make a back test here real quick, you could, in theory, come to 927 and just try to hold this setup. And then see where we rotate from here. But just pay attention this morning. It's not all bad. It's just we're looking at Ethereum from a standpoint of, I think we do have that correction that could be playing out here. Which, if that's the case, when you look at something like IOTA, that would mean a complete reset probably down here to 15 or 16 cent area, which is a decent drop, which is a nice reset here for algo. So now you'd have to go back to the bottom of these patterns, which I'm all for. If we reset all the way back down, what an opportunity. I'm all for it, honestly. I am all for it. You guys can have your own risk tolerance, whether or not you want to sit through, whether or not you think it's an appropriate time. I personally wouldn't be buying here if it's my first entry, to be honest with you. Not on that head and shoulders reversal pattern in the 4-hourly and daily. I'd be waiting for that weekly to play out. I'd be waiting for that weekly retest if Ethereum wants to give it to us. Or it doesn't hurt to wait for it to re-break out and push for a new high. So right now I'd say you just stand pat here and you kind of look at it, observe, and wait for the best opportunity available. Because there are significant opportunities that could in fact be developing here. They all look like they're breaking down in a sense. Even the ones that could have broke up, they put in these double tops. And now it looks like we're going to start back testing these lower levels. So we'll see exactly how this pans out. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I encourage you, if you want to see some stuff on the fly, and you don't want to wait for all my updates, go in the video description below and or pinned comments, especially into my YouTube page. Go to the membership area where I've been a member of Tom's Army for 50 plus months and join Tom's Army. That'll get you exclusive rights to the Telegram. And as we've seen in the last few days, the more people, the more bullshit, the more modifying, the more admins we need, the more, policing and things like that, because people just can't rein it in on their own. So I don't put up with any of the bullshit. Yesterday I was trying to be out of the picture because of Julie's birthday, but yet I got dragged in because we just couldn't keep our mouth shut in the Telegram and we couldn't stay on the same page. So our admins had to ban a few people, and I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. We ruined the flow. And whether we're fancied to indicators or we're fancied to charts or whatever, we have to do it from a position of respect. If we're not going to show integrity at all times and be positivity over negativity, we're not victims, so we don't have to act like it. We're winners. And if we can't adhere to the rules I've put in place, and the fact there is no rules, but there's all rules, and there's no warnings, but yet there's a warning at all times. So if you screw it up, you ruin the vibe, and you just can't flow with our community, you're gone. I don't care how much info you bring in. I don't care how much insight you have. If you can't gel as all for one instead of one for all, see, we're not the one for all minds, or the all for one and one for all. We want that mindset, but we're not all for just ourselves. If we're not going to put in the work with each other, even if we have differing opinions, we've got to come to a logical standpoint where we can come to the same conclusions, at least from a standpoint of power of positivity. We let our faith speak for us. We have the power of our souls, man. We have integrity. We try to help. We're creating abundance for all, not abundance for one. And what I seen yesterday was not acceptable. So it'll be dealt with accordingly. It already has been. I expect us not to go backwards and go forward. If you want to be part of the Telegram, we have special rules in place now. We have to join Tom's Army for at least 1 month. If it's too much to show support for my work that I've been doing since March 24th of 2021 without a single day off, so be it. If you want to join and then exit after you join and then join the Telegram and then cancel your membership, so be it if you don't want to pay it forward. But do not ruin the flow. Do not ruin the vibe. Otherwise, you're going to see yourself looking on the outside looking in. I'm going to see you piss and moan in the comments on YouTube. But at the end of the day, we all bring upon the light or we all bring upon the darkness. If you're finding yourself on the outside of the Telegram, you have unfortunately brought the darkness into my house, and I don't appreciate it.